Thank you, John. Like John said, my name is Erin Reed. I went to Utah State, got my undergrad in accounting, economics, and finance. Backing up a little bit before that, when I was 14, so I was a freshman in high school, my dad gave me a book on finance. Up to that point, I figured I would end up in like animal science or be a veterinarian, or my whole family was engineers, so I looked at that. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I read that book as a freshman in high school and was like, this is it. I love this. So um, entered the Huntsman School of Business my senior year of high school and graduated with my undergrad in 2017. I started with corporate accounting at Coke and loved it, but wanted to be close to family and ended up coming back to Logan to work for Adams Wealth Advisors doing financial planning. Went back to Utah State, got my master's in accounting, my CPA license, that's a certified public accountant, my CEP license, that's a certified estate planner, and my CFP, a certified financial planner. So the last few years have had quite a few tests, but also quite a bit of growth in the industry and in my career as I've learned. So I've been with Adams for about 3 years now, and I'm loving it. A little highlight of kind of what I do and why I got the certifications, why I picked the education path that I did. I love accounting. I love numbers. I love critically thinking, but I also love people. And financial planning is a very people-focused branch of the finance industry. There's so many different kinds of financial planning, so many different kinds of financial planning firms, but the one common denominator that all of them have is close relationships with people. So kind of there's the two main tranches of financial planning are commission products or fee-based products. And how a commission product works is it would be like a life insurance product or something like that, an annuity, and you get as an advisor, you meet with individuals, you find products, funds, annuities, insurance that best fits a client, and you connect them and you get a commission when you sell that item to them. This is great if you're really outgoing, if you love kind of putting yourself out there. Usually these jobs involve a lot of cold calling. With my accounting background, I am not super outgoing like that. So for me personally, I liked more on the fee-based side. How a fee-based plan works is you just have a set fee that you charge per AUM, so assets under management. It's billed usually quarterly, annually, monthly, however your firm decides to do it, but there's no incentive for selling additional products. It just kind of depends what kind of planner you like to be. There's no real plus or minus to either side. They have different laws that they have to follow, but in general, both are great advisors. I settled with a fee-based planning firm. A little bit of what a day in the life looks like is I'm on a team. That's also kind of unique for the industry. A lot of times you fend for yourselves and you're fighting each other for clients, but in our office, we work together as a team. We have individuals on my team that are more sales focused. I actually work directly with our managing director, Craig Adams, who brings in clients and introduces them to me. And then I kind of nerd out with the clients. So we go through and I get to know them really well. I get to know their hopes and their dreams, kind of the story that they want their money to tell, and then figure out how to get there. So I get to use my accounting every day. That's why I went ahead and did my CPA license, is I dive pretty deep into a lot of taxes. We handle a lot of complex business owner situations, estates, capital gains and ordinary income, just the way that they combine. We do a lot of retirement planning and income tax planning for how can we structure to have the lowest taxes in retirement, kind of make the most of our money, not only through investment returns, but through not paying tax legally. I do a lot with estates and helping families avoid probate and then walking through that estate process after a family member has passed. We do quite a bit on the investment side. One of the best things in my experience with financial planning is I get to dabble in a little bit of everything. So I work a lot with stocks and investments and heavy analysis there, as well as private equity. We own several companies and have created a private equity fund. So we've created a way for individuals to be able to invest in private equity without having to have millions of dollars, because they can just join a fund. So it's a pooled account to join into private equity. We've done the same thing for real estate. Another tranche that's been really fun that we work a lot with at Adams is called structured investments or structured notes. They're contracts with the bank that kind of play in the options world, and that's been really intriguing and fun to learn about. So it gets your hands dirty in kind of a lot of the realms of finance, both from the perspective as you meet different clients and different people. Everyone comes from different walks of life, so you get to understand their business and kind of what they're into, as well as providing a plethora of options to meet all of those. So you get to see a lot and learn a lot, and every day is very different. Just as you kind of dive into all the individuality. And that's probably what I love most about my job, is just kind of how diverse it is, and how I get to continually stay learning. Does anyone have any questions or anything like that? I know we're kind of running a little bit short on time.
We're fine. We've got time for at least 1 or 2 questions.
Thanks.
Well, I'll ask one. Aaron, if you were to go back as a recommendation for students that are in this discovery process, what are some things that you would tell them to, like, what are some reasons that they should consider working in this specific space in financial planning?
That's a good question. Especially with how broad financial planning is. If you know that you have a connection with people, but you don't know like where to find it. For me, financial planning is not where I expected to end up. I'm not a super outgoing people person. I fall much more in the CPA category, but I have the dream job. I love what I do. So I would just say, like, as you're in college, what worked really well for me is to just kind of like Craig was saying, just meet lots of people and talk with them about their jobs. See if you can shadow, or see if you can just have like real conversations about what they do, and specifically what they like about their job. That will really open people and professionals up as you allow them to talk about kind of what they love. And especially in the financial planning industry, you're coming into an industry of people. So as you kind of dive into that, you can learn more about the different branches of financial planning and see where you're a good fit.
Perfect. Did anybody else have any other questions for Aaron?
I have a question, if that's okay.
Go ahead. You're good.
My question was just that it sounds like Erin has done a lot in accounting with her CPA and master's in accounting. And I was wondering if that's a similar path that most financial advisors follow, or if you find some who are focused more on finance and economics, or kind of how the breakdown among your fellow advisors is.
That's a great question. It's actually very unusual. CPA is not a common route to planning. Usually CPA ends up in tax or corporate accounting, audit, something like that. Not financial planning. It's a pretty uncommon path that way. I work with a lot of finance and accounting majors. My undergrad also had finance and accounting, so that's kind of where the background came from. And then I just tagged on the CPA and the accounting because I work with a lot of business owners, and it helped for like the financial statement analysis and the complex tax situations. That's why I added my CPA. But the vast majority of individuals that I work with and coworkers, so not just like people in my office, but as I talk with other planners, they usually have more of a finance background, especially as it gets into like stock analysis and stuff like that. Accounting helps, and especially if you go through and do your CPA, there's a lot of finance and kind of understanding as you take like the FAR section of the CPA test, so it helps, but it's by far not common.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Really appreciate it. I know we had another question, but we've got Aaron's contact information in the chat. Please reach out to her. I know that she'd be more than willing to connect. Aaron, really appreciate it again.
Thanks, John.